Hello, this is Anthony with Copley. Today we'll be discussing how to home with CMO. So when you install CMO, you get these two folders on your desktop, CMO Examples folder and the CMO Documents folder. Let's click on the CMO Documents folder and open up the Programmer's Guide. Under Amplifier and Related Objects, Chapter 5, we're going to go to Section 5.11, Section 11. So here we have the properties of the homing class. So let's see here. So the amplifier object class. So you can see if an amplifier is referenced. It's a bit in the status word that it's checking. And then you can tell it to go home, send a trajectory update, and you can set position limits, and then you can pass this home settings object to it. And the home settings object has all of these settings. So homing offset, a fast velocity for fast moves, a slow velocity for if you're seeking a sensor edge, a home acceleration, a current limit if you're doing a current homing routine. It uses current, like home to a hard stop, or you can set the methods. So CML methods. So these are the homing methods supported by CMO. So you can use other methods. You just have to set a specific object with an SDO if they're not on this list of supported homing methods. But here's the list of supported homing methods. Move into a negative limit switch. Let's see, out to an index. So you can move into an index. Let's see, the one that I'm going to test is the hard stop. So let's look for that one. Oh, here it is. Hard stop, negative. Okay. So run in the negative direction until the homing current has been reached. Okay. Great. So now that we've read what we want to do, let me go to the CMO Examples folder. And I'm going to use the 2019 examples. Example 2 is homing. And we double click on the solution file, the .sln, to open up the project. Okay, so here's the example 2 CMO homing. So we are assuming that the motor has an index because we're going to be using it in the homing routine. And then we also assume that the CAN node ID is 1. So to set the CAN node ID on the amplifier, your amplifier may have a switch on it, an address switch. You just turn that switch to the 1 position. So that would be S2 on the switch. So you can do it that way, or you can actually use a programmed value, and all of that is done, you would do using CME, not CMO. So let's see here. We assume that the amplifier has been pre-configured and set up to run properly, and using CME. So here in the we're setting the CAN address, which is 1. We're not setting it. We're assuming that is already 1. And then the load function. This method is called on startup. Once on startup, it initializes the CAN open network to 1 megabit per second, and then it will initialize the drive on that network using the node address. And then it'll initialize the home settings object with the amplifier's home settings. So it populates this object using what's already in the drive in RAM. And then this will start a timer that updates the GUI in the example. So in the home, this home button, when the user presses the homing button, this is what's happening. So we're going to first disable the button, then we're going to set the home velocity fast, slow, the accel, and then the homing method. So I'm actually going to change this homing method right now. Let's see, dot, and I want to use the hard stop negative. And then what else? So then we set up the homing offset, and we send the new settings to the drive. And then so we're doing an update here, and then we are saying telling the drive to go home. So this is a trajectory update command, and then we're going to wait 10 seconds for that home to finish. So this is setting up. This is waiting this amount of time for that bit in the status to go high, the referenced bit, and then we'll re-enable the button when we finish. Okay, but let's open up CME and take a look at the settings in the drive. So we're connected here to CME over serial. There are some advantages to having a serial connection. For instance, if I want to, so let's see, if I connect here, if I click here on the homing button, we see all the settings. So fast velocity, slow velocity, but they're in these millimeters per second units, and they're not in the format that we'll actually be sending them to the drive with CMO. So how would we go about translating this? There's one easy way to do it. There's one kind of not easy way, and that's performing a calculation using the counts per rev and then the resolution and all that. Or you can use CME and over serial you can get the access to the communications log. So here the enable logging checkbox is checked, and I want to read the offset. So if I change this to 1 millimeter, I see that it's setting this parameter C6 to this value. But I want to make it 2. Let's see, 2 millimeters. Hit enter. Okay, so if I go ahead and convert that from from hex to decimal, so 32000. So the way to read this is, this is the parameter after 0D. This is the after this 4-byte header. This is the data. So the parameter over ASCII is C6, and then the data that we're sending to C6 is these 4 bytes. So I actually want to use let's see, times 2. I want to use 64000. So this is the number that I'm going to send in CMO. So in hex, we convert it to decimal, and we're gonna set that. So I go here, and I use that number 409,600. Okay, and then I'm just going to tell it to go home, and I'm going to wait 10 seconds for this move to finish, and that is it. Yeah. So I'll go ahead and start this example. Okay, so it's getting the actual position, and so if I tell it now to home, okay, it's referenced and homed successfully. So if I go now to the control panel, we can see that we are, where is it? Home referenced right here. So it's a bit in the status word, and now it's saying it's set. So now we are referenced. Okay, so that's how you would home using CMO. Let me know what you thought of this video. Like and subscribe for more content. We just came out with a new CMO version 6.1 beta 4. It has some new features related to PVT. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and check it out. It's on our webpage.